The room buzzed like a beehive. Dozens of reporters crammed into the tight space, their phones and recorders held high. At the front stood Karoline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, her sharp green eyes scanning the crowd. She'd faced tough questions before, but today felt heavier. The air smelled like coffee and tension. A young reporter near the front raised her hand first. "Ms. Leavitt, can you explain the president's new health care plan?" Karoline answered smoothly, her voice calm. She moved to the next question, a follow-up about taxes. Routine stuff. Then she spoke up. "Why won't you admit this policy hurts low-income families?" The voice belonged to Jess Torres, a reporter known for her fiery interviews. Her dark hair was pulled into a tight ponytail, her gaze locked on Karoline like a laser. Karoline didn't blink. "I've addressed this already. The president's plan helps all Americans." Jess leaned forward, her pen tapping the edge of her notebook. "But the numbers don't add up. How do you explain the cuts to Medicaid?" "Those claims are misleading," Karoline said, her tone firm. "Next question." But Jess wasn't done. "Misleading or inconvenient?" A murmur swept through the room. Cameras flicked between the two women, capturing every twitch, every breath. Karoline's jaw tightened, just barely. She dealt with hecklers, critics, even protesters. But Jess was different. She didn't want answers. She wanted a fight. "You're twisting facts," Karoline said. "This isn't a debate. Move on." Jess smirked. "Or what? You'll kick me out?" The room froze. Even the clicks of camera shutters stopped. Karoline's assistant, hovering near the door, shot her a worried look. This wasn't just a press conference anymore. It was a trap. Karoline gripped the edge of the podium. "You're here to ask questions, not grandstand." Jess stood abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. "And you're here to dodge accountability." Someone in the back gasped. A security guard stepped forward, his eyes on Karoline, waiting for a signal. Jess noticed. Her voice rose. "What? You'll have me dragged out? So much for free speech?" Karoline didn't flinch. "Free speech doesn't mean chaos. Sit down or leave." Jess crossed her arms. "Make me." The words hung in the air like smoke. Reporters held their breaths, phones recording, fingers hovering over tweet buttons. Karoline nodded once at security. Two guards approached Jess. The room erupted, shouts, shuffling, the thunder of camera clicks. Jess didn't resist, but as she was led out, she shouted over her shoulder, "You're proving my point, Karoline. What are you hiding?" The door slammed. Silence. Karoline smoothed her blazer and turned back to the crowd. "Next question." But the damage was done. Every screen in the room glowed with notifications. The clip was already everywhere. Press secretary silences reporter. And Jess? She stood outside the building, live streaming to thousands. "This," she said, "is what happens when they can't handle the truth." Inside, Karoline's phone blew up. Her team huddled around her, voices overlapping. "We need a statement. They're calling you a dictator." Trending on Twitter. Karoline scrolled through the headlines, her face unreadable. Then she dropped the phone into her pocket. "Post the full video," she said. "Unedited. Let them see what really happened." The internet exploded. The clip of Jess being escorted out racked up millions of views in hours. Hashtags like #silenced and #truth. Matters flooded social media. Memes mocked Karoline's stern expression, calling her Dictator Cole. Protesters gathered outside the White House, chanting Jess's name. But then Karoline's team dropped the unedited video. No cuts, no commentary, just raw footage. Jess interrupting, talking over answers, smirking as Karoline tried to move on. The full 7-minute exchange laid bare. The reaction split like a lightning bolt. Conservatives praised Karoline. Finally, someone stands up to activist journalists. Liberals doubled down. She still shouldn't have kicked her out. News channels argued for days. One host replayed the video frame by frame. See? Jess wanted this. Jess, meanwhile, became a star. Talk shows booked her. Podcasts quoted her. She leaned into the drama, tweeting, "They can't handle real questions." Donations poured into her independent news site, but the unedited video kept chipping away. Comments shifted. Wait, Jess didn't let anyone else speak. She's not even listening. A viral TikTok compared her to a reality TV villain. Even some fans admitted, "This feels staged." Karoline stayed quiet. No interviews, no tweets, just work. At the next press briefing, reporters grilled her. "Do you regret how you handled Jess?" She paused, choosing her words carefully. "I regret that honesty isn't enough anymore, but I won't reward bad behavior with attention." Jess fired back instantly. Translation: "I hate being challenged." But the energy had changed. The White House press corps grew stricter. Reporters who shouted over others were cut off. Rules were enforced. Jess tried to sneak into another briefing with a borrowed press pass. Security turned her away. A week later, polls dropped. Karoline's approval rating? Steady. Jess's credibility? Split. Half called her a hero, half called her a fraud. At a coffee shop downtown, a barista recognized Karoline. "Hey," he said, handing her a latte. "Thanks for not backing down." Karoline smiled. For the first time in days, it reached her eyes. Truth doesn't go viral. Drama does. But somewhere between the hot takes and hashtags, facts still matter. Jess kept her followers. Karoline kept her job. And the next time a reporter shouted over someone, the room stayed silent. No one clapped.